Got a water drink before the meeting even started.
Always grab 2, Les. Excuse me.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. We'll go ahead and call the City Council meeting of the City of New Ulm to order. Item number 1.1, public notice to conduct meeting by teleconference. All councilors are here and present. We'll move on to item number 2, consent agenda. Councilors, what are your wishes?
I'll offer a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 3.1, public hearing on the proposed 2021 surface reconstruction project.
Right. Madam President, City Councilors, Joe Stad, I'm City Engineer. Public hearing tonight is for the proposed 2021 surface reconstruction project. This is a 12-block project that is performed by the City Street Department. The projects noted for surface reconstruction this year are 3rd North Street between Garden and Washington Street, 8th North Street between Franklin and Washington Street, 18th North Street from Broadway to State, 20th North Street from US Highway 14 to North Broadway, and finally Franklin Street from 17th North to US Highway 14. Hearing notices were sent out to 72 property owners that will benefit from the proposed improvement. We've received 5 phone calls or inquiries about the project. Have not received any verbal or written correspondence opposed to this project. So it'd be my recommendation that we open up the meeting for the public hearing.
Okay. Thank you.
What we want to do is we do in the past, take each one and see if there's anybody here to.
That's what you choose to do. That I think has worked well in the past.
And see if anybody wants to say anything.
Yep. Number 1, 3rd North Street from Garden Street to Washington Street. 8th North Street from Franklin Street to Washington Street. 18th North Street from Broadway to State Street. 20th North Street from US Highway 14 to North Broadway. Franklin Street from 17th North Street to US Highway 14. Would anyone like to be heard?
Hearing nothing, I'll offer a resolution and waive the reading to close this hearing, ordering in the 2020 surface reconstruction project and authorize the street department to construct.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion?
Les, shouldn't that be 2021? You got 2020 here? We're in 20. Is that a mistake?
Looks like the
2020?
engineer might have a typo in
Yeah,
his
I just
action.
2021.
May have been a copy and paste error.
Rookie mistake, rookie mistake.
Any further discussion? Noting 2021 as the dates. Assistant Director Amira, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Christian,
Yes.
Counselor Warman,
Yes.
President Beck.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Stadheim. Item number 4.1, raffles and gambling permit for New Ulm Girls Fastpitch Association.
Motion to approve the issuance of the lawful gambling permit for the New Ulm Girls Fastpitch Association to conduct raffles gambling at Jefferson Elementary School, 318 South Payne Street on Saturday, June 19, 2021.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4.2, temporary on-sale intoxicating liquor license for Bavarian Blast.
I'll make a motion to approve the issuance of a temporary on-sale intoxicating liquor license for Bavarian Blast to sell alcohol during their event at the Brown County Fairgrounds for the dates beginning Thursday, July 15th, 2021 through Sunday, July 18th, 2021, subject to compliance with the city and state requirements.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Just like to say that it's great that we're going to have some festivals this summer. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 4.3, tobacco license for Family Dollar.
I'll offer the motion to approve the issuance of tobacco license for Family Dollar Incorporated, Family Dollar number 32729, 1605 South Broadway for the period May 19th, 2021, ending June 30th, 2021, subject to compliance with all city and state requirements.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item number 5.1, reports from counselors. Summary of business conducted during board and commission meetings.
I have none this month.
I have two, but I'm only going to touch on the one. At last night's Heritage Preservation Commission meeting, the city of Ulm actually applied for a design review. We have a private donor who wants to donate almost $20,000 to the Riverside Park building to put new arch windows in. Working with the park director on getting the fine details done, so that was unanimously approved. I would like to mention that this donor also is looking at next year doing another big project on the Riverside Park building and donating the money. That was good news. The Park and Rec, how about I just save that for 7.1? That's going to be a lengthy discussion anyway.
Sounds good. Any other updates?
Nothing new here.
Nothing here.
Moving on to item number 6.1, recommendation from the Airport Commission.
Madam President, City Councilors, Airport Commission met last Tuesday at their regularly scheduled Airport Commission meeting about the proposed changes to right-hand traffic for the runway 15 traffic coming into the New Ulm Airport, and some other alternatives that were brought forth by local pilots in response to the noise complaints that we've had from increased operations at the airport. Airport Commission considered all the options, had lengthy discussion primarily about safety and comments that we've received from local pilots that utilize the facility and their concerns with changing to a right-hand pattern for runway 15. Many of the pilots that use our facility were opposed to that right-hand pattern due to safety, primarily with that blind approach with a right-hand pattern. So the commission discussed that at length and also considered the other alternatives of asking or requesting that the pilots use a higher altitude when circling ULM, and then also increasing the circling pattern out over the river valley. Ultimately, the commission decided to, voted unanimously to not recommend any changes to the flight pattern. They didn't see any real benefit to increasing the minimum altitudes or pushing that traffic out over other neighborhoods, and didn't feel like it would really resolve any of the issues at hand. City staff did go out and take decibel readings on May 6th while there was multiple aircrafts using the facility. Those readings came back with nothing greater than 69 decibels. There was greater decibel readings just from the wind and vehicle traffic on North Highland Avenue. So with all that said, again, the commission decided not to take any action and just they received the alternatives and voted not to make any changes at this time. So moving forward to today, we have the options of selecting alternative or just receiving that report from the Airport Commission. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Joe, I got a couple questions and comments. So the recommendation from the Airport Commission was to not do anything, but now they agreed to start flying 500 feet higher, but that's not going to be required based on your recommendations. It's a,
That would be an alternative we could select, but
so could we order, I mean, is that one thing we could require tonight?
So something like that, from my understanding, is it's a request. It's not a requirement. It would be a public, something put out in the publication that the community requests that, or the airport requests that you
Can't
use.
require it.
Correct, because
Okay, I
the
wanted to-
requirements are set by FAA. So it'd be simply an ask that pilots would not have to comply by, but it's something that we can request of pilots that use the facility.
Is there a big difference between our airport and Springfield? Because my understanding Springfield does do the left turn.
They do the right hand, and I don't know what the reasoning is at Springfield for that.
Right hand, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the opposite of what we
Yeah, I'm not sure why that is over in
Pretty
Springfield.
close to us.
Yeah, but I can't answer that question.
The other comment I wanted to make was right after our last meeting in April 20th, I believe it was that night, I got a call. Remember, we had some conversations about the person with the yellow plane that's really loud? Well, he called me. And we had a great conversation, very nice gentleman, and he's not part of this school.
Right.
It's his own plane. And he said, I didn't realize I was so loud. And he said, I don't have to fly that pattern, I can fly other patterns. And he does have some restrictions based on the type of plane that he has, and I don't remember the corrective word, but it's not, he can't go very high and he can't go very far. But he said, I can certainly go other directions and not be so loud over the city of New Ulm. And he obviously plans on, wanted to start doing that right away. So this airport's in my ward, and I certainly have had a lot of conversations with people that, which kind of brought this to a work session and then brought it here tonight, that people are really frustrated that the planes always go the same direction and around and around and around they go. And for people that live in that area, it's very loud and very distracting. And this flight school started, and we learned on April 20th, there's 600 students out of 3 airports.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of them here, but I have to tell you, since we had this meeting and the individual that came to us on April 20th was very considerate and very responsive, I thought. I have to tell you, in the last couple of weeks, it's not been that loud, and I don't know if they've changed drastically or going up 500 feet has really made a major difference.
And as far as the North Stars Flight School and Mankato State Universities, I don't know. I think they're performing their operations as they were before, because nothing's been submitted to the FAA to go through that process or anything yet. So I think everyone's aware of the concerns. So I think there might be just pilots on their own trying to be good neighbors and with the
That's
facility
kind
and
of what
things
I'm
like
thinking
that.
too, is I think they're really taking this seriously, and
Yep.
I thank them for that. And so based on that, I'm not recommending a change tonight either, and recommending that we receive an order filed, but I'll see what my fellow counselors have to say about it.
I too took a few phone calls on this, and one is a retired pilot, and he said he doesn't recommend a change to it, stay with the left-hand pattern. People have been doing it, he flew for 50 years and he said people have to also remember, the airport was there long before the housing was there. And on that aspect, so I'm in favor of just accepting the report.
And we could bring this back, I mean, obviously.
Certainly,
I
yeah.
mean,
Absolutely.
so we always have that option if.
Some other items that were discussed at the commission meeting were maybe, educating the public with a town talk article or something like that about why plane traffic travels the way it does. And also, we have our email list for our fixed base aircraft, so we could always email out a reminder to our local pilots that are based here in New Ulm to make sure they're achieving those minimums and remind them that we're neighbors to some residential properties, and we want to extend good neighborship and with use of the facility and things of that nature as well. So
My comment is I agree with the 2 counselors. Just order it filed for now. I didn't receive any phone calls or complaints about it. I mean, the airport commission, they did the homework on it. City engineer gave them the alternatives. For right now, airport talk, hold pattern.
Better.
Yeah, likewise, I agree with what you guys have said too. I spoke with residents in the neighborhood, and it was kind of funny that when in one of the conversations I had, they said, well, I didn't really even think about it or notice it until you guys brought it up, and boy, that's all I hear is airplanes now that I've talked about it, and it's like, well, there you go. But no, I have also spoken, just like Larry, to ex-pilots, and they said this is the way you're trained, and I mean, obviously that's what the commission even recommends. That's what I would stay with too.
I'm going to just add one more. One of the individuals that spoke to me said that these airplanes are running straight exhaust. There's no mufflers. It's
Right.
just straight pipes.
Yep.
And, and Les received a call from the individual, and maybe that, they'll police themselves.
Yeah.
That they take awareness because they know that the yellow one probably sticks out more than the white ones or whatever. So,
Everybody be
you know,
watching that yellow one now. Where is it?
I too did receive a few phone calls, did some research on it myself, spoke with several on the airport committee, and just how uncommon that right-hand approach is. And we have more traffic here, and so I think keeping it the same makes sense. I did have one question. The decibel level of 69, what is, do you know what the city complaints code requirements are? Just like kind of, so we can give people an idea of where they fall?
Yep.
That's 69
Correct me if
volts.
I'm wrong, Elwood, but I believe it's 75 decibels,
Okay.
but it's based on an average over an hour. So
Over
if
an hour.
that average decibel reading over an hour is greater than 75 decibels.
Okay.
that-
You might know that one. Okay. Just so that people have an idea of, what that sound actually is.
Yeah, when John Nisley helped with the decibel readings, and when he took them, he said it was much higher from vehicles driving by than it was from the plane circling. So
All right. Thank you.
I'll offer a motion to receive and order filed the report from the Airport Commission considering options in response to concerns about noise from aircrafts using the municipal airport.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. We are going to move item number 7.1 to our last order of business, and we're going to go ahead and move down to item number 7.2, MnDOT Office of Aeronautics Agreement, number 1047059.
Madam President, City Councilors, this MnDOT agreement coincides with the last round of coronavirus funds that we got for the New Ulm Municipal Airport, in the amount of $13,000. This agreement with MnDOT is really just the, MnDOT serves as the fiscal agent for the grant, so they process the paperwork and issue payment. So this is an agreement with MnDOT for that payment pass-through process.
And we don't need any matching funds or anything for this. This is just part of coronavirus relief grant
Correct,
money?
yep.
I'll make a motion, offer the resolution, waive the reading, approving MnDOT Office of Aeronautics Agreement Number 1047059, and authorize the city manager and finance director to execute the agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Assistant Director Amira, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
President Becker?
Motion carries. Item number 8.1, City Cemetery Donation.
I'll go ahead and offer the resolution, waive the reading to accept the donation in the amount of $1,000 from Hutchinson Financial, Hutchinson, Minnesota, on behalf of Darlene Marcia Osterix to the New Ulm Cemetery for general cemetery use.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Assistant Director Amira, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
Yes.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
Yes.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
President Becker?
Yes, motion carries. Item number 8.2, Purchase of Allied Radio Matrix Emergency Response Radios.
President Betker and councilors, what you have in front of you is a request to replace our current Armor 800 system with upgrades in order to meet the standards or to get radios that'll actually support the new encryption, which is coming a little bit faster than what we had expected. And that's why we have a timeline that we do here. If you remember back in 2010, when the whole state, or our region went to, and our county went to the armor system, we bought all new radios. So these radios are getting to the point where the life of their reliability is really coming to an end. The Motorola no longer makes parts or supports these radios, probably for the last 3 years already. So at this point, the Motorola has offered a large volume purchase discount, which is good until, I believe, first part of June. So that's why the timeline is what it is. We are looking at partnering with the county in order to receive, or so we have the right amount of radios so we can get that discount from Motorola. The county has offered to be the fiscal agent, so therefore all the public safety within Brown County will have the opportunity to buy radios all at the same time. Because it's an unbudgeted item, the 290 fund, which is the fire department truck and equipment fund, we would like to use money out of there for both the fire department and the police department. Nicole has said that this, with a repayment over 5 years, that the fund will be just fine as long as it gets repaid, and that we keep putting money into the fund. We'll have enough in there to replace trucks when we need to.
You know, a comment I want to make backing the police and fire department. Like a dummy, I volunteered to go back on the Fire Department Relief Association, so I now get to do 12 more meetings a year along with Eric. But Paul, can you not touch on that issue that happened with this radio conflict, the encrypted codes, and what happened with the riots in Minneapolis? The
Well,
council needs to hear that.
Yeah, the encrypted channels are actually channels that nobody can tap into or listen to, is what it is. And what they found out is that, well, they can tap into them. And they want to make sure that we can talk between ourselves, not only between ourselves, between the counties, between region, state, and any federal agencies coming in without being listened in on.
Well, and I really appreciate the fact that we are working together with the county to get a discount for all of us taxpayers in this purchase. I think that's important to note and appreciated by those that worked on this particular project. It's a big expense, though. It's huge. How many radios is the city looking at purchasing?
Exact counts. I think the fire department's looking at 35 handhelds and 2 mobiles.
Okay.
And the police department, I'm not quite sure what your exact numbers are.
President Betker, members of the council, my name is Dave Borker. I'm the chief of police for the city of New Ulm. We're looking at 21 portable radios for the police department, and then also it would be 3 mobiles. And then after that, we intend on having the other radios be part of the budgeting cycle, or it'd be a likely part of the budgeting cycle, because it's going to take, we're recommending which was explained in the request for council action, a sinking fund for the police department as well, because, we want to repay the 290 account for Chief Mako. And then this is going to be a reoccurring theme. They're estimating approximately every 7 to 10 years. I just talked with someone from Motorola, and even the parts and stuff, they're building it out. They used to figure replacement parts to be every 20, 25 years. That's what they built the product for. They don't do that anymore. They're figuring every 7 years, simply because 7 to 10 years, because they know that there's going to be upgrades, with software and just with the technology. This is all technology driven.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you. And it looks like from what I'm reading, based on working together, we're getting $150 off per radio, plus 5% of all the merchandise for the large volume purchases, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Assistant Director Amir, did Nicole have any notes or anything to share, or do you have anything to add in regards to what this would do to the 290 fund?
She did say that it's coming out of the 290 fund. We would repay it over 5 years, putting it into the next budget, the 2022 budget, and going forward to repay that. But for now, the 290 fund for the fire would be fine, that we would have enough money to purchase the trucks and stuff going forward, as long as we keep that repayment going.
And one final comment on that. Past councils, this present council, I'm happy our 290 fund is in good shape. We planned ahead. This came up. We can cover it and bounce back from it real quick.
So the police department will be paying $19,400 in each of the next 5 years to repay that loan, correct? Nicole? No.
And that would be their portion of the radios, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I want to authorize the New Ulm Fire Department and Police Departments to purchase unbudgeted Allied Radio Matrix emergency response radios for interoperability purposes in the amount of $211,407.12, which includes $114,932.26 for the fire department purchases and $96,474.86 for the police department purchases utilizing funds from the 290.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 8.3, scheduled joint City Council Public Utilities Commission information meeting.
I'll offer a motion to approve the joint meeting for June 15th at 3:30 to talk about the audited financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2020. It's always the most informational meeting of the year.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8.4, Recreation Center fee schedule.
Hello, President Betker and counselors. Tom Schmitz, Park and Recreation Department. You have before you a recommendation, a unanimous recommendation from 7 of the 9 commissioners that were at the last Park and Rec Commission meeting to adopt the proposed Recreation Center fee schedule. We did some research. Staff did a significant amount of research with similar facilities. And we looked at past fees, and we know that there's going to be some additional amenities and improvements to the recreation center, including dry land and field house activities, along with, of course, the new aquatic center and indoor playground. So you have before you the information in the packet, and the recommendation is a modest increase over the past fees. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
I got lots of questions. You want to go first?
I'll just, a couple of comments. I attended the Park and Rec Commission meeting. I mean, I voted yes, forwarded to council, but I did give my opinion at that meeting that there were some people actually looked at the fee schedule, and generally the population in New Ulm, I don't think they're going to be happy with it, and they're not. I don't know if other councilors had a few calls, but they're not. Mm-hmm. And one other item I questioned at the meeting, Park and Rec did a great job explaining it to me. I was a little uncomfortable with an adult 12 years old, that he's going to pay the same fee. I mean, the Park and Rec brought it up, what their feeling was on it. That's one of the other items I'm just a little uncomfortable with.
And I agree with that. I'm also going, and I want to let you jump in here and see what your commission discussed, but we're actually going to charge a 1-year-old almost a $7 fee, based on how I read this. Got a major problem with that. I'm not sure what a 1-year-old is going to use up at at our facility. So I get worried that, a family, mom or grandparents bringing 2, 3 kids to our rec center, not being able to afford to go. And we certainly built this for our public to enjoy. And I agree with Counselor Christian on the 12-year-old. I mean, there's a lot of difference between a 12-year-old and an 18-year-old on what equipment they're going to use in a facility. I don't see also that what I wanted some explanation on was I don't see the aquatic center specifically singled out here, and maybe I'm missing it, but I don't see it. So I would guess a lot of people are going to come to this facility just simply for that, especially in our winter months. So I wanted to know if the commission talked about that, and maybe I'll stop there and see what you have to say. Or fill me in.
Certainly. Thank you. Again, President Betker and councilors. So the age bracket from 12 to basically 54 is a general admission. It's not labeled an adult or a minor or anything like that. It's general admission. I think we're all familiar with that. And the reason that group has the same fee is that entire group can use everything. 12 and up can use everything in the facility. They're not limited, by a younger age to not use certain things, including the fitness equipment. They'll be allowed to use the fitness equipment. So that's why that group is the way it is. Additionally, the younger ages, for over a decade, we've had a one fee, an admission fee into the facility. We don't have a separate fee for a gym court, or to go use a racquetball court, or to go swimming. You pay one fee and you come in and you can do everything. You can use everything. The only individual fee we have for a smaller portion of the facility is the track. The walking track fee has a separate fee, and we're linking that to the playground fee. So if you are only going to use the walking track or only use the playground, that is in the packet here as a separate fee. Otherwise, you can use the entire facility. The younger, the toddlers using the swimming pool are going to put just as much, if not more, stress on the sanitation system and the filtration system. So saying that toddlers cost, maintenance less than an adult, I would disagree with that. Did I answer every question, or was there something I missed there?
Yeah, another,
The one about
Aquatic center
just
not
the
having-
aquatic
Oh,
center.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, one fee to come in and use the entire facility. You can go swim, you can shoot baskets, you can play racquetball, you can do multiple things. You can work out on the fitness equipment. We don't have a separate fee for the aquatic center, nor a separate fee for the field house, nor a separate fee for the fitness center. It is an admission fee to the facility.
What about if someone goes to ice skate at the Civic Center? That's a flat fee for that service, correct?
Yes, the Civic Center has a separate admission fee schedule and we have the memberships in here. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, I was just curious if there's an opportunity to parse out the aquatic center as a simple thing. You get a wristband, you go in, you pay that fee, because you can do that when you go to the Civic Center, I guess. It's kind of my...
Yeah, the Civic Center just has skating. The Recreation Center has, more than a dozen amenities in there. And you're going to have to come in the front door and go through the lobbies and the locker rooms and the facility past the gymnastics center to get to the pool. And people leaving the aquatic center will have the opportunity to just walk down the hall and go into the field house or go to the fitness center. So we don't have controls that allow you to enter and exit these individual amenities from the exterior of the building.
Did the commission talk at all about having some, I'm looking at this, if somebody wanted to join wanted to go to the facility strictly for just working out, I know like Anytime Fitness is $37 a month. Here, you would pay $480 for a 1-year membership. If I'm using the 3-month discount times 4.
Well, we have annual
Yeah,
memberships, and we have 3-month
Okay,
memberships.
so the
And
annual's probably
membership-
what they would pick. That would be $389. Yeah,
An annual single
26.
Single general's 420.
general is $420.
With tax.
Okay. Should there be a separate aquatic park?
My recommendation would be no. There'd be no way to control where people are going. Just like if they say, okay, we're only gonna go in and shoot baskets, there's no control of that. You know, they can go anywhere in the facility. They can,
You could with
sneak
a
into the
wrist- You
pool.
could with a wristband or something like that, but
Wristbands are not recommended for this type of a facility. They're hard to, stay on, and then you go into the water and the showers and so on. We've eliminated wristbands about a decade ago.
And one other comment I'm going to make, and it's actually backing what Tom said. I mean, given the task of coming up, how to fund this new facility, it's kind of new to us. And I do remember the last 2 years, members of this council, I was one of them, telling the taxpayer, it's going to cost money to operate this facility. Don't forget about it. We said it many times at meetings. The past council presidents said it. If that's what it's going to take, it's new to us. We really don't know. I know we got engineered specs on what the facility is going to cost us from past experience. Our first year is going to be a learning year. Those numbers can be so far off. I just worry about affordability to a lot of citizens in New Ulm, low-income families being able to use the facility. I mean, I'll probably get crucified if it's going to take raising taxes a little the first year, then so be it, because I said it many times at meetings. It's going to cost money to operate this facility. Great, we all voted for it. I voted for it. It's going to cost dollars to fund this.
I would like to add a few more items in that, the daily admission, we do not anticipate residents and people within the region paying daily admission. The 12 punch card is a 25% discount on 12 individual daily admissions. So the daily admission is probably geared more towards the traveling business person who's in town for a day or two or a week on business, and they don't want to buy a membership or a punch card. They'll just pay the daily rate. So that's the 25% discount on a punch card. And then the memberships are also tiered for an individual, for 2 people, and for the additional person. Both resident pricing and non-resident pricing, because we all know that residents pay the city property tax and non-residents do not pay city property taxes. So further down in the primary issues and alternatives, our fee philosophy remains the same. It hasn't changed in well over a decade. In that, it's a user-based philosophy. How much do you want to subsidize users from the property tax base?
But that's always the dilemma, Tom. If you have it too high, where people can't afford to come, then you have loss of revenue. So it's always a double-edged sword.
Correct. Generally, we bring in about a third of what it costs to operate the system. The Civic Center, the ICE users bring in about a third of what it costs to operate the Civic Center. The Recreation Center is the largest revenue generator by far in our system. Parks bring in the least amount of revenue.
You're projecting that what these fees are set at, if we approve them tonight, your opinion that will cover about a third of the overall expenses of that building?
That has been past history.
Okay.
Correct.
Mr. Schmitz, when's the last time that the fee schedule was updated?
Annually. And this will just carry us through this year. We're beginning within a month to flush out any potential recommended changes for the 22 fee schedule. It's done annually, just like the budget is.
I will say that I am a member, my family is a member of the Park and Rec. Maybe we weren't during COVID, but we will be again. And looking at what that family membership was costing us at that point to what it is costing us now, yes, there is an increase, but it's still less than $2 a day for a family of four, which is different for some people, but it is still reasonable in comparison to what you're going to pay for at other gyms, and to have a lot of the amenities. One of the other things that I would just want to make note of is I am still very against the infants 1 and under. I would really like to see that be 3 and under. I think I've been a parent going in somewhere with my child and they have a meltdown after 10 minutes and then you leave. And if you're paying $14, $15 to go in there and you have that experience, are you going to come back? We want to kind of get our youth locally acclimated to using the Civic Center. And I would really like to see it be maybe 3 and older for admission. I understand that the children come with a cost as well, but we do want to encourage parents to get them started very early and get them there and see, what we have to offer. So that would be my thought. But otherwise, I've done the math on a lot of these, and yes, you are getting more amenities. It has gone up. It's still, I think, reasonable and less than what you see in a lot of other communities. We're very fortunate. We've had the Renew money to build that facility and make these updates, but the question is, should we be subsidizing and how far? So.
Correct. Sales tax built the facilities, but property taxes will operate the facilities. One more tidbit, some of the communities we looked at and compared to include Redwood Falls, and their memberships are higher than ours, and they do not have a swimming pool. We're going to have the second indoor aquatic ninja cross in the country. So how do we compare those prices with others, We can check with Provo, Utah and see what their rec center prices are, but, there are very few recreational centers in the upper Midwest that have all this to offer their customers under one roof.
I'd like to just add, I received a couple calls on this also, and some concerns about the 12-year-old, and I feel that, and they're feeling that, under 18, make it a destination for the kids to use. We want our kids to be somewhere safe. They know where they're at, whether they're 15 years old and gonna work out, but make it affordable, for all the kids under 18 within our community, that we're paying for. And also, I'm not in favor of raising the rates. I think they need to stay low and be affordable. I brought this up 2 weeks ago when we were reviewing our city survey, where people stated that the rec center fees are getting to be too much for a family to afford. And if it means that we have to raise some taxes to subsidize it, but I'd like to see it utilized and not increased. I'd like to wait a year, evaluate it.
Do we have options for folks that are lower income?
Certainly, there are scholarships that we operate, and then the United Way is always has their door open also.
Talk about that just a little bit more.
Just simply that we have scholarship opportunities for programs. We haven't in the past had scholarship opportunities for memberships and admissions to the recreation center. But I do know that the United Way has considered helping low-income people with many different types of activities.
Okay. Thank you.
I did have one more thing here also. And so ages 12 and above are going to be able to use all of the equipment, including weights and something. I thought, and I read through all of this, I thought there was going to be some education somewhere for 12 and over on how to use some of the equipment. Did I see something like that in here?
Yes.
Okay.
In the past, it's been 15 and older to use the fitness equipment. We're agreeing to drop that down to 12 and older, as long as those have an orientation by staff. So again, Counselor Max thought of 18 years of age and older. Well, age 12 and older can use exactly the same equipment and aspects and amenities in the facilities as a 50-year-old or a senior.
And I was just stating that the family, said if they want their kids to be somewhere in the afternoon, they know that they're in a good, safe spot and, and they want it affordable for the kids, make it a destination.
Yeah, from looking at this too, I got just to keep echoing the same thing, the same sentiments. I agree with Andrea very much so about the infants. A 3-year-old, it just seems more appropriate that a 3-year-old and under would be considered an infant. I get it, the use and whatnot, but just the concerns I've had from phone calls today, that it's somewhat unaffordable if it's going to scare people away. However, if you do look at this, it is more in favor of membership, that you're more of the punch card or a full membership would be the logical way to go with this instead of the daily use. I mean, yeah, if you have 2 kids and 2 adults show up, yeah, you're paying over $40 to go there, and lo and behold, you might just want to use the aquatic center. You don't want to go play pickleball. I mean, you're probably not doing that. So I also get what Councilor Les was saying about aquatic center use only, but I also understand that it's going to be tough to manage that. So I don't know what to say with that other than I am in favor of what President Becker had to say about what we consider an infant.
Adjusting that age could be very simply done
Yeah.
today here by you.
And, one other comment is, we're kind of on a crunch time,
Right.
30 days after. I mean, if this place does open on time, we got to have it set by August 1.
Well, this is not an ordinance.
No, but I mean, we adopt the fee schedule by then.
But you need to do advertising and.
Yes, I mean, this is set by resolution and not by ordinance.
Right.
Won't require a second reading. As the annual effort is, annually the fee schedule goes before you through 2 readings.
So there
So
really
the-
wasn't a lot of
This-
discussion.
Madam President and councilors, this is a subject that we discussed prior to today when this was put on the agenda. And there's 2 ways we could have done this. One would have been to completely redo the entire city fee schedule, which would have involved having to republish the whole schedule at a fairly substantial cost. The charter does allow an ordinance to be added to by resolution, because this is an ordinance otherwise. I think it's 2.99.
I thought so.
Right. So what you're doing here, and I asked Tom about this, because these are new fees, that this would be something you can do by resolution one time tonight's meeting, or if you continue it the next meeting, it does not have to go through the ordinance
Okay.
process. So
But it is an ordinance.
it's amending an ordinance.
Right.
Right, yeah.
I think back to when the city's number one renew project was the water park or the aquatic center, the number one thing everybody wanted. And there's just part of me that says a lot of people are going to want to come just for the water park. And should there just be a separate fee for people that want to go in and enjoy that park for the day? I was really surprised when I didn't see it on here, and I kept looking for it, and I'm like, where's the fee for the aquatic center? And it's not in there, and I was just like, wow. I'm tempted to make a recommendation to kick it back to the Park and Rec Commission to reconsider that. Because I just think we're going to get a lot of folks coming from out of town, a lot of people in town that are going to come to try out all these things that you're talking about. And I don't know, your response to that, Tom?
Yes, President
Yeah.
Becker and councilors. Over the past 15 years, what we have seen is people come in the front door and they're wowed. They want to go here, there, and everywhere, and they want to come back. They don't want to come just one time. So I think what's going to happen is they may come just for the water park, but then they're going to see what other opportunities and amenities there are in the facility for all ages and all abilities. And I think that this will grow over time because of that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it'll become a destination spot for a lot of families, just like Lake Crystal has been for New Ulm people that have been traveling over there for a long time.
Correct. You may have portions of the family or the group that want to spend more time in the aquatic center, and other portions of the family and group may want to spend more time in the fitness center,
Yeah.
or the field house, or the racquetball court.
Okay. Cheryl wants to talk.
I just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
I'm Cheryl, the assistant director, and I just had to get my lifeguard recert. I had to go to Lake Crystal to swim laps, and it cost me $7 just to swim the laps. And that's no water slide, no anything else.
Nothing.
I don't know
Okay.
if that makes you feel better or not, but I just
Yeah.
thought I'd throw that out there.
Thank you. It's good to know that stuff. I guess that's why we're asking these questions.
And then on top of that, I quickly did Google search of water parks in Minnesota, $10 to $15 average price. We're below the average price of just a water park. And, you look at, we'll go YMCA kind of on pars of facility like us. Youth membership at YMCA is $15 a month. Adult membership, $46.50 a month. Seniors 62 plus, $39.50 a month. Senior couples, $57.50 a month. Family, $65.75 a month. And I did the quick math in my head. If I do the double membership plus I get my 4-year-old on there, I'm paying $1.64 a day. What's more affordable than $1.64 a day? To me that is cheap, and I get it. I'm different situation than other people, but $1.64 a day to me is affordable can be. Yes, it forces you to do a membership, but you can do monthly payments on members. Oh, can we? Yes.
I was just
You
gonna
can do
ask that.
monthly membership on
You-
payments.
We do allow that on a yearly membership, monthly payment for it? All right.
Yep. So that is affordable, but again, it's something new. Like you said, it's something new. It is a price increase, over what it was before, but it's changed, and we do have to take those steps forward. Because even looking at some of the prices there, renting a basketball court is still $20 an hour or $21 now. I mean, that is dirt cheap in my mind. So it is a price increase, but when you look at some of the other options, like Tom had said, 25% discount if you do the 12-punch card, so just food for thought. Thank you.
My thought is I would like to see no admission for 3 years and under, and
Admission.
yes,
Not
free.
no admission.
No, free admission. I said no. Did I say same thing? No admission. And I would like to see the general go up to age 13. But what was your thoughts on 12 versus 13? I mean, I know it's not a huge difference, but I just think about where children are in development in sports and using equipment and things like that. And I thought maybe.
The reason why we chose 12 is because that's how old you are when you enter 7th grade, and that's the year you start sports
Okay.
and lifting in school. So that's why we separated 12 from 13, because otherwise you'd have half of the 7th graders that could use it and half not.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
That does make sense.
So another key element to remember is that this is just through the end of this year. You will have an annual opportunity to adjust fee schedules comprehensively, system-wide, and citywide.
Yeah, we just won't have very much time with this current schedule to see any patterns. But you as a commission might, or even the employees might say, oh, this one area isn't working, I would assume. Too high, too low, whatever.
Correct.
Could
It's
bring it
going to
back
be a
to us.
new car that's, a little different than the old car. Certainly will take some growing pains for the operators.
Yep, absolutely. An exciting time, too, though, when you think about it. This is
Yes.
something we've been wanting in our
Yes.
community for a very long time.
Yes, very rare
So-
facility.
It's an exciting.
Would you like to be heard? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Bev Lunenberg, 33 Lincoln Lane, and I am here not as a senior citizen for the rates. I am here for the young families, the single families with little kids. When my family started our business many years ago, and I know things have gone up, there wasn't a lot of money, and these young families wanting to go, and even if these payments are monthly, I don't know if these families can afford that. And I totally agree with the 3 and under. But I guess my main thing is how much Renew money was put to this building?
About $10 million.
Okay, so the people of New Ulm have to realize, this isn't Redwood Falls, this isn't Mankato. This money came from people that came to New Ulm. And there was, I know there's salaries and there's upkeep and maintenance that goes on, but that would have been even with the old building. And I realize it's gonna increase, but $10 million and we have to raise the prices? I'm just totally against it. I don't feel that's right. You know, the visitors to our town have to pay more, which I don't even know if I agree with that, because they come here and they're gonna eat, they're gonna go to the ice cream store, they're gonna get gas. And I don't know, I think my granddaughter, that's 12, so has a friend and her parents both work. And so she's alone sometimes during the day. Her friends want to go and she has to pay $9 to get in. And I realize there's other water parks, but this is New Ulm, and this money from Renew paid for this building. I don't feel it's right that our people, our young kids, you know, not including me as a senior, but should have to pay these prices. I'm very opposed to it. And as far as the Park and Rec, my fault, but I was not at that meeting. I would have been totally opposed. I do know another member on the Park and Rec that was opposed to it, which they said there wasn't any. I just, my feeling comes from starting a business years ago, and there's so many single families now. And to take their kids, I think it's, you know, if they keep it the same, but I almost think they should put the fees down. I mean, the fees, the money that came in from Renew is unbelievable. I mean, how many businesses or places get that type of money? You know, I'm in the process of helping a nonprofit with a few things, you know, so, you know, the land, they put up a building, and then they come to the door and, oh, you gotta pay me $9 to get in. I have a hard time with that. And you know, it's up to you people to vote, and if you vote for it, yeah, I'll be behind you 100%. But just my opinion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tom, just a quick question on when we open this facility, has the commission talked about, you know, is there going to be a free couple weeks so everybody in the community can come and see what this place has to offer? Is there going to be more than like an open house? I mean, has the commission talked about that yet?
No, we have not put together an open house plan yet. No, but that's something that we certainly will be discussing.
Because like you said, once people get to see the inside, there might be a lot more interest, and maybe the commission wants to consider having a couple weeks where there'd be no cost just to get people in the building. It may sound crazy, but wow, what if it really sparked the interest, it could pay for itself pretty quickly with memberships. So I hope that your commission will give that some thought.
Do you know about, generally speaking, you know, maybe the beginning of 2020, using those numbers, how many memberships there were to the Park and Rec, or how many family memberships, something that, the information that we have? And then from there, what the goals are with the new facility as far as attracting families from New Ulm and outside?
20 might be a bad year to use, though.
I'm talking the beginning, or 2019, just, I guess, more generally speaking.
We had thousands and thousands of memberships back in 2019, and many different types of memberships. You know, even the punch cards are considered members. And then the seniors, a lot of those are on senior programs where Medicare or some senior program is actually paying the fee, whereas senior citizens aren't paying out of pocket.
Sure.
So there's just, we anticipate, more members and more activity over time as this facility opens and becomes more well-known.
In my understanding, you have a new software system that can help manage all of this as well,
Yes,
correct?
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You bet.
Again, my final comment, I just hope this doesn't deter. I understand all the data we've collected, other cities, what they're doing, that some of our low-income families, it prohibits them from sending a kid 2-3 times a week. Like, I'm sorry, I got 3 kids, I can't afford that every week. That bugs me. That bothers me. Yes, probably everybody sitting at this table, we don't have an issue going down and paying $420 membership. To some families, that's a lot of money.
That ain't gonna happen for some.
No, it's not gonna happen. That's the part that worries me.
But I think we can take a serious look at that. When will we review the fees for 2022?
In the autumn, I think action takes place probably in November.
September, October, November.
And again,
we'll
the
We won't have too much time after we've opened to take a look at it, but I think we'll have a sense.
yes,
We'll have a sense to take a serious look at that. If it just simply, we're getting too many complaints, that maybe we need to set up our own scholarship fund or or create a new set of rules, if a sliding fee scale or something of that nature, and provide some assistance for people that have documented lower incomes, so. With that, I'm going to go ahead and offer the resolution, waive the reading, adopting the new rec center fee schedule effective Wednesday, May 19th, 2021, with the exception that infants be changed to children under 3 and under.
Second.
There'll be no cost.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion?
President Betker and councilors, my question there is age 3 and under. So, if you're 1 day younger than 4, so I mean, your entire 3rd year you want to include, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yep, that's my motion.
Okay, age 3 and under.
Yes.
Thank you.
With the further discussion, just a comment, I mean, it's probably gonna go through, we got the second on it. I just hope we don't, like I said, the citizens of New Ulm accept it, because, yes, a lot of money spent on it. It's gonna be a shocker to some families that I can't afford this. Again, I'm gonna make that comment. 2 of us counselors, numerous times, I get it, the Park and Rec needs to recoup the cost with the fees, but we were saying taxes might go up to fund this facility. It was said many times. I'm one that said it.
And based on what you're saying, we're only recovering 1/3 of what our actual costs are. 2/3 are already being borne by the taxpayer.
Correct. And the, the admission rate was, has just gone up $1.50. It was $7.50 and now it's going up to $9 for the general admission.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Assistant Director Amira, please call the roll.
Counselor Mack?
No.
Counselor Schultz?
Yes.
Counselor Christian?
No.
Counselor Warmka?
Yes.
President Betker?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. All right, item number 7.1, interview process to fill mayoral vacancy.
Councilor President, councilors, before you have a couple of decisions to make. We received nine applications. One had to withdraw, so that relieves 8 remaining candidates. We would like to schedule that meeting to interview on June 1st of 2020 prior to your council meeting, the regular meeting. So at this point, one decision that you need to make is whether or not you want to interview all 8 candidates or pare that down to whatever number you would like to choose. That's kind of the first item of discussion on this topic.
I'll make the opening comment on that. I mean, I've been getting a lot of advice lately on who the mayor should be in the city of New Ulm. And I've been open and upfront with people. I respect that we had originally 9. There are 8 people that are interested in doing it. I mean, other councilors might feel different. I know it's going to take us time and to schedule. I'd like myself, this is me myself, I'd like to hear what all 8 candidates have to say. I mean, I'll admit, some of these individuals, I don't know, besides reading their application, who they are, what they have to offer New Ulm, what type of personality they have. That's my opinion. I would like to do all 8. And other counselors, make your comments.
I would agree with Counselor Christian. I would like to hear what everyone has to say, get to know what their stance is, what their feelings are. I'm in favor of interviewing all 8. I know it is going to take more time, but I think everyone that has put their name on the line deserves a shot. So
I'm fine with interviewing all 8. I mean, we're elected to serve the community. And how are you going to serve the community if you don't take the opportunity? Because I don't know everybody that applied. So if we get the introduction, by interviewing, and we'll go from there.
If we did look at interviewing 8, are we talking about doing that over 2 days, or what would your recommendation be?
We would still do 1 day just to schedule them all. So you'd be looking at roughly a 4-hour block of time. So probably from 11 to 3. Then you'll have probably a 15-minute break afterwards. You can deliberate before you go into the meeting.
And I know what happens if a candidate can't, or whatever date we pick, the candidate can't appear at that date?
So that would be the second part that I would lead into. But so there is one candidate right now that has already stated that they wouldn't be able to make the June 1st interview. So you potentially have the option at this time to schedule a different day. I will say potentially that opens up a can of worms, because if a candidate can't make that day, are you going to reschedule again so all 8 can be there, or do you just select a date? This is the day we're doing it. If you can make it, you can make it. If you can't, you can't. It potentially eliminates a candidate, but that's for the council to decide.
would there be an opportunity to use Zoom, Skype, some form of a digital media to interview?
We would accommodate that, but I think the potential candidate is going to be in a region or an area that doesn't support that.
Gotcha.
Well, I would like to say that I did go through all of the applications, and I would really like to work with those candidates and hear from those candidates who are very qualified for the position. And I'm just going to state that here.
We could interview at a different date other than June 1st. June 1st could just simply be the first, because we have the capability of setting up a meeting and doing that legally, and interviewing next week, per se, with June 1st being the date that could be the first date of the new mayor.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, we would hold a special meeting, so at a minimum, we would need 3-day public
3-day
notice.
notification.
Yeah, so
Right.
kind
Because
of,
the interviews are public and the deliberation is public. We would have authority at that meeting to recommend our first choice, maybe second choice in case there's an issue, and have that mayor take their seat on June 1st.
yes, that is correct.
Would there be a possibility for a second round of interviews if all 8 are interviewed the first time?
Good question.
You technically could do that, Roger? Would that be okay as long as it's public?
You can interview on whatever basis you want. I think, and I've heard, some of the, I'm sure all of the members of the council are concerned about being fair to all the applicants, to give them an opportunity. But if you were going to narrow the field down, it would also be your decision to do that as well.
Yeah.
So however you'd want to do it, it's really up to you.
What about interviewing 4 next week and 4 on June 1st? That,
Do you want all the questions out there?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I think we should pick a date for next week.
Agreed.
Move
I
forward here.
I think we have to. We can make a date work, hopefully. There's 5 of us, so
Do we have
we
anything
could
in
work
the,
with.
anything in the chambers next Tuesday?
What's the date?
Just trying to stay consistent with Tuesdays.
Yes, that would, well, it'd be at 4:30. It would be the Utility Commission.
At 4:30?
At 4:30, yeah. You can still do
potentially
11 to
do it later in
3.
the day.
Yeah, you can still do 11 to 3 or whatever that.
How much, you think we need 4 hours? to
Well, you do about half hour an interview. If you did all 8, you'd be,
At least?
yeah.
Maybe with a break and a,
Yeah, Les, I need
Break
that
it.
break after 2 hours.
Because essentially what could happen
many different
is-
reasons, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could do the interviews and then prior to the council meeting, deliberate at that point if you didn't want to deliberate right after. Mull that over. I mean, so you can have another meeting prior to talk about your recommendation and just do the interviews that day. And we can schedule it however you want. And again, that we have time to, send out a poll or an email to see how everyone wants, and we can work with Shauna to see what works for everyone as well.
Anybody
as
have
the
major
candidates.
conflicts next week?
No.
Besides city conflicts, no, I mean, they'll work around that.
I think I'm pretty good too, I'm pretty
Be
sure.
okay next Tuesday during the day.
My only concern, sorry, Shauna Boomgarden, HR Director. My only concern would be that that's not giving a lot of the other candidates that have full-time jobs and maybe enough time to take off.
I realize I'm lucky with this. I mean, our counselors, is it easier late afternoon, evening?
Or can we do a poll?
For me, it works either way, but is it
A
easier?
poll?
I gotta take
For-
off, I gotta put vacation in, it's no,
Unaffected.
it's part of my job.
Yep.
I'm here, so it is
Okay.
what it is.
So why don't you do some, maybe different schedules? We-
We'll do a doodle poll. We'll send out a doodle poll tomorrow and see what days work. I figure if we do Wednesday or Thursday might work out a little bit.
Madam President, I just gonna interject, I haven't, maybe I missed it, but the applicant who can't be here on the 1st, is he gonna be, or she gonna be here
Yeah.
next week?
They will, yeah,
Okay,
they
I
will.
didn't know that, so,
Yeah,
all right, okay.
they'll be here next week.
And I think if we all answer that doodle poll right away tomorrow, that would still give the
Enough
candidate
time.
pretty normal time for an or an interview, right? 5 days or whatever, 6 days?
Sorry, potentially what I can do too is send an email tomorrow morning right away to all the candidates to see if they have any conflicts also next week. And that way I understand and let them know to get back to me right away so that I understand. We can send out a doodle poll and then I can understand if any of the other candidates have any conflicts also next week.
And then at that point, what do we do if they do have conflicts? Because we did state June 1st and now.
Right.
Depends on
know,
what the
right.
conflict is. Can they meet an hour later? Can they meet
Okay.
earlier?
Well, Council, again, if I can interject, one option you would have would be, I think that you could probably continue this meeting until a date next week. Adjourn for tonight, but continue the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd resume, and then at that point, depending upon what you find out, if you need to meet again for a couple hours or split it up or something, you would always have the opportunity to do that. And that way you probably wouldn't have to republish the special
Perfect.
notice and all that, so.
Yeah. And then, again, we'd only be looking for about an hour of each candidate's time, from being off work. So, we can schedule around what really works for them to take time off.
So what kind of motion do you need to take?
So first one would be,
Well, we
I
have 2
guess,
choices, one to approve
C.
interviewing all
Yeah,
8.
so-
But I mean,
Right.
we don't want to close the meeting, though. We want to, as Roger said,
I would suggest if you move to adjourn this meeting to reconvene on whatever date you want to select at whatever time to conduct the interviews of the applicants for the mayor of New Ulm.
Okay.
Because the plan is to interview all 8, so that's what you'd be doing.
Well, a lot of times, as I'm sure Shauna knows, sometimes when people drop at the last minute too. When it comes right down to the interviews, some drop. So we might not have 8. So we'll see.
Do we need to state a date here in the motion?
Yes, you would, if you're going to continue this meeting, you would need to have a date and a time when you're going to reconvene. So,
We can't do that because we don't know the poll yet.
Well.
Right?
11:30 on Tuesday, the
25th is
25th?
Tuesday, the 25th. Pick a time, 11 o'clock.
well, I understand if any of these candidates are working, it's a problem for them, but they also want to be the mayor. And so,
That's a week notice, or 6-day notice. That's pretty normal in interview worlds. 4 or 5 days, 6 days, yeah, you don't get 2-week notices for interviews anymore. So,
I mean, Roger, I have an attorney question. I believe, unfamiliar faces, a lot of these candidates are out there. Can I just ask for a head nod? Does the 25th work? I mean,
absolutely.
One
If
of the
there's
benefits of
anyone who
being here.
can't make it, who's here,
Barry, you okay with Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm the one who can't make it June 1st, but otherwise I can come anytime, any day next week.
so the candidates that are present at the meeting today, the 25th would work? Okay,
We're just making it sooner for you.
yeah.
we have room up here.
So, Roger, you just want a motion to
continue this
continue the meeting?
to the 25th or whatever time you want
11
to
o'clock.
start for the purpose of interviewing the applicants.
Maybe we
for
want to
mayor.
meet at 10:30 and then have the interview start at 11. So we have direction from Shauna on what we need to do and
She could email us that.
process. Yeah, that's true.
We'll just use the same process that we did when Counselor
look what
Warnka
happened
was appointed.
wonderful things happen.
That was easy.
I plan on, so we have 11 questions is what we have, 30-minute time frame. I'll ask the questions, and the counselors can have any follow-up questions if they do. So that's kind of the plan,
Okay. So,
a hard 30.
just a simple motion to reconvene this meeting, May 25th at 10:30 in the council chambers.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion?
So that's 11 o'clock or 10:30?
Les stated if we want to be here early, just to,
Well, we all probably will.
HR director to fill us in.
The meeting is going to start then, that's when this motion would
We should
apply.
get here at 10:45 and the interview start at 11.
Yeah, that's fine.
10:45.
But the meeting should start at 11.
Yeah.
No, if you're here and if you're getting instructions, the meeting
The
is
meeting
starting.
starts, yeah. So 10:30 would be fine.
10:30.
I will leave it at 10:30 because interviews will start at 11.
Start late if we need to.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. With no additional business, this meeting is adjourned.
Not adjourned.
Oh,
Not adjourned.
no, we are not. We are moving it. And then in just a few moments, we'll move into the work session for tonight.
Yep. 5-minute break.
That's another first. I know.
We ever adjourned or didn't adjourn.
No.
Shar, do you know that work session's about Airbnbs, right?